Hello, everyone and no one, and welcome to another Rotten Movie Reviews. Today we reviewed the movie, the 1998 film City of Angels, and it was a film. I honestly liked Andre Bauer's parts more than anyone else's, just because I actually like seeing it when he emotes, consider the opposite of what he always did in Reno 911, even though he's had a lot of stuff that he's emoted in. But going with me as always, get back to OBS real quick. I have Tyr Alexander here as well. Tyr, how you doing?
I'm doing great, my friend. How are you?
Not so bad. I didn't even leave my apartment today.
Yeah,
It was a down day from the gym. And as well with us is Angela. Angela, how you doing?
Recomposed and ready to talk, sir.
And then getting us the final corner is James. James, how you doing?
Great, wonderful, and just lovely, but of course I'm full of shit. I'm irritated and pissy.
stop making me laugh.
I
Well,
am the only one that liked
we'll get
this.
right into it. Yeah, it's a 1998 film, so it's almost 20 years old. Or no, it's over almost 30 years old. Fuck. God
Yeah, so
damn. So, spoilers are abrupt. I ought to make a thing for OBS that just says spoilers, and I'll make that a little later date.
Spoilers abound, I think, is what he's trying to say.
spoiler
Yeah,
alert, spoiler alert.
trigger warning. But it stars Nicolas Cage, Meg Ryan, and Andrew Bauer. Nicolas Cage and Andrew
Dennis
Bauer.
Franz.
What?
Dennis Franz. Yes, he was good.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a bigger cast than people realize, and the whole thing, or that they played small roles. But you have Nicolas Cage plays an angel, although with everything that he they have him and Andrew doing for that whole thing, they technically wouldn't be angels, they'd be reapers. Because it's not angels who guide the dead souls of the dead, it's reapers who do that. And that's going off more lore than just supernatural. But I will say, I did not hate the movie and I didn't think it sucked. Thought it was weird as fuck.
Creepy.
It definitely was odd. I will not
Yeah,
argue
it
that.
is definitely a like you got to get like I'd say probably about 20 to 30 minutes in, and then it starts to be an exponentially better movie than it was, and it doesn't seem like this seems like some weird ass supernatural horror movie that's going to go into.
Well, I kind of look at their angels as either scholars and researchers, is the way it seemed to me, because they all hung out at the library.
Yeah. You
Part
know
time.
what?
The rest of the time they were like helping
Filling
people
people
that
up
were wayward or dealing with the dead.
or filling people up. They felt a lot of people up.
And a lot of it was just consoling.
They can't feel anything. It's not
Yeah, it's a consoling touch in a lot of things.
I know.
exactly.
It's and like Johnny said, it's a slow movie. I'll openly admit I don't think it's a terrible movie. It's not for everyone though,
It
Oh,
clearly wasn't for
absolutely.
me.
and this is definitely
I
not.
knew 5 minutes in that Tyr was not gonna
Yeah,
like it.
I will also say this is definitely not a movie that you try to put in the background to get some hanky panky going on with
Oh
the
no.
with the person you're trying to get with, because it's too weird that it's just going to ruin any mood.
Well, that and by the time the
Oh
end
no.
comes around, you've got a freaking wreck of a girl in your arms. I mean, that's just based on the fact that I had to go spend like 5 minutes collecting myself afterwards.
I'm gonna
So,
come out and say, God, in this movie, God's a fucking dick.
Actually, I disagree with you on that one. because of what Bauer said in that whole thing, because he asked it, Nicholas, because again, spoilers, end of the movie, he asks if he's being punished, and quite literally, Bauer's just like, or, Cassiel is like, it's life. It's the way things go. Quite literally, he was basically saying that God has a
Should have.
plan, but doesn't always have everything down to the T. So not everything's going to be exactly when you think it's going to be. Like, quite literally, it was just what it was.
Again, I choose to believe in the interpretation that God knew Seth would fall,
Oh,
and
Of course, God knew.
like, all right. So even with the whole thing, they said they had free will and predestination, like literally debunks that concept because all this like when he fucking meets her, he tells her that like there's a fucking plan. Like it just happens. That's the will of God. You can't deny that. You can't fix that. You can't superimpose your will over God. So that means there is a superseding will that just says this will happen when it happens, and I know when it'll happen. And
Then it wouldn't. Then it still wouldn't be
but
punishment,
you
because the whole fact, if you're saying that God had a plan and all that was predetermined, free will's an illusion to begin with. We don't have
yeah,
to get into that theological argument right now.
fine.
you could have a plan and not have every little minute detail planned out, you know.
Yeah, you're a god. And you're the God. You are the ruler of the universe, the creator, the beginning and the end. I'm pretty sure you have the plan completely and
And
utterly
you
mapped.
say, and you say, I am going to turn around and have this person live, and this person live, and this person live, and this person live. And you have that planned out. You say they're going to live this long. You're not turning around necessarily and saying that they're going to make, you're not determining the choices that they're going to make. You have their beginning and their end planned out, and the rest is up to them.
So what if I decide to shut off this moral code before my end is planned out? Is it my free will or is it predestined outcome?
Yeah, we don't need to get
Then
into that
God knew
argument.
you were going to be an asshole who couldn't turn around and had to feel like you were in control of it. And so when you did it, that's going to be what time.
Okay,
So
here, stop. We are
yeah,
not getting into a theological argument in a fucking movie review. That's why I said we're not getting into it, which means don't fucking press it, bro. There's
okay.
no reason for it. We got into the small thing of it and that. I will say this. I would definitely agree with, I think it was Scott. Um, it had really good cinematography.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was beautifully
Who's the
done.
director?
The director is a Brad Silberling.
All right, that's one of the things I can applaud. Like the director, even if I didn't like the story itself, I do like the way it was shot. I like all the cinematography stuff.
Well, he's done
Like some
things
of
in
the
like Charmed, Rain,
oh yeah, he
Moonlight
Guardians.
Mile, A Series of Unfortunate Events, Felicity. I mean, he's done quite a bit of different stuff. Casper.
Yeah, he has some talent.
Yeah.
Like
Casper,
so.
the friendly ghost?
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Yeah, the
Well,
1995
yeah.
Casper.
Shit, he done Doogie Howser.
I love
um,
Casper. It has literally the best proposal in the existence of humankind.
Yes,
yeah, that
okay.
line right there will get you laid every time.
What?
Casper,
Okay,
that line that he
my
says. We'll get
Can
you
I keep
laid
you?
every time. I promise.
Can I keep you?
Well, it's
I haven't watched the movie in forever, so I can't fucking remember.
there's this line where Casper, they're at the dance party thing, and Casper leans in and whispers in her ear, "Can I keep you?" And
Yes.
literally, that is my dream proposal.
Like I said, it'll get you laid every time.
I will say that I definitely did like the scenes in the City of Angels with Nicolas Cage and Dennis Franz's character, especially after the surgery.
Oh yeah, that was funny. He. I really wish they would have said who he was back then, but hey, it is what it is.
I mean, it's not a terrible movie. It's just a really fucking weird movie.
It's
It's a
just
chick flick.
bizarre.
It is
It'll
more
make
of
you
a chick
cry.
flick. Well, and I
It
You'll
guess
is
have
not
emotions.
as weird as Zandalee was.
Oh god.
Zandalee was just fucking weird.
At least Van Lee had nudity.
Christ tier.
Look,
I
I'll get
can't. No.
I love you, Angela.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a possibly a reason why this is a little weirder. It is a loose remake of a German film called Wings of Desire, Der Helm über Berlin.
oh,
Remake.
this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't look at any of the one stuff.
it's the same plot. Film is about invisible, immortal angels who populate Berlin and listen to the thoughts of human inhabitants, comforting the distress. Even though the city is densely populated, many of the people are isolated and estranged from their loved ones. One angel falls in love with a beautiful lone trapeze artist. The angel chooses to become mortal so that he can experience human sensory pleasures ranging from enjoying food to touching a loved one, so he can discover human love with the trapeze artist. So probably why it's a little disjointed and weird. And in this one, the characters are Damiel and Castiel. So because having him named Seth just kind of weird from a biblical standpoint.
Yeah.
You
Well,
need a human name if you're going to be seen by a human.
yeah.
Yeah, but Ariel, I know a girl named Ariel. I know a Gabriel. I know a Michael.
But do you know a Castiel? He's not going to turn around and go,
No,
"Oh yeah,
Andrew
Castiel."
Bauer's character was Castiel.
No, it's
Yes.
Castiel. There's no T in it. Castiel is Misha
Is the
Collins'
guy from
character from Supernatural.
Yes, I
Castiel.
know.
But I'm just saying, there are Michaels, there are Gabriels, there's Ariels. He could have given a more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Contemporary.
Well, I mean, he
Contemporary.
could have also went with more of like a Jacob or John because those are traditionally Hebrew names.
So is
True.
Seth.
Oh. Well, there we go. Apparently, we're being taught in that whole thing because I didn't know and whatnot. So,
Seth was Adam and Eve's third son.
Yeah, he could have went with Adam.
that would make a lot less sense of having an angel named Adam. That's getting into what like Has Been Hotels done by somehow making, the first human Adam gets turned into an angel. Not getting into that whole
Yeah,
shit.
that'd be a little.
So like that one doesn't make as much sense.
Seth is a less known biblical name.
He doesn't have to come in and be like, my name is Ezekiel.
I'm just saying. For me, the
Just
connotation
like
is
that
theft and
too.
sex. But again, it's probably a thing. I get it. Excuse me.
Angel, my name is G Dog.
G dog.
What's the short? It's a short for Gabrielle. Dog.
Shit, he could have went with Gabe. My name's Gabe.
Again, it's that whole thing that if you're gonna go off what Angela's saying, it is a slighter nod to more people who actually read the Bible, and it doesn't have to be as mainstream for everyone else. So
True.
it is a biblical name, and you're just bitching about it currently because it's not as
It's
mainstream
not as
biblical as you
cool
think
as
it.
he wants it to be.
Maybe I'm being pedantic. I will admit,
Pedantic, thy
but
name is Tyr.
yeah,
Yes. That should be Tyr's new middle name.
Tyr pedantic Alexander.
Yep.
Tyr, the grand pedantic inquisitor lich.
The Grand Petty. No, I'll be the Grand
Oh,
Petty.
wonderful. I do love you, Tyr, but sometimes I cannot talk movies with you.
I'm sorry. Again, I get the theme of the movie. It's love transcends all things.
Because
And
it always, with you though, a movie always comes down to how much violence was in it and did I get to see titty? And
that's not entirely true.
I can't deal with that.
That's not
Okay.
entirely true.
How fucking insane is the main character?
How
Those are the
fucking
3 things you look for in a movie.
that's not entirely true either. I look for story
Okay.
consistency.
Tahoe. I'm going to Reno. This. I don't really have much else to say about this movie. It's one of those things. It's like, it's there. It's not terrible. Like, it's not a dog shit movie. It's just.
I'm not the demographic.
You are definitely not the demographic.
Yeah, you either had to be the demographic, or this has to be like one of those movies you watch after the loss of a loved one.
I was gonna say, it has to be one of those movies that hits you at the right time. For example, I am aware Frosted, it's just that it doesn't have to be there.
Exactly, Frosty. You get it. Love and
See,
titties can overlap, and they often
there is a
did.
movie that I really love that I know for a fact I would not have even liked if I hadn't found it at the time that I did. I discovered it at the time that my ex-husband and I broke up the first time. Um, it's called Hideous Kinky. No, it is not actually kinky. I don't know why it's called that.
Well,
The
kind of
author
like
is
that.
it is a bizarre movie. It is really strange. It's very much a hippie dip kind of film. But it was about a woman whose husband was constantly cheating on her. And she decided that, like, he decided he was going to move in with his fuck du jour. And so she took her kids to go to India to discover herself and find religious enlightenment.
Hmm.
And it just hit at exactly that at
Okay.
exactly that time to where I was able to watch it and actually appreciate what the movie was trying to say. If I had seen it at any other time, I
You wouldn't
probably
appreciate it
wouldn't
as
have,
much.
yeah, wouldn't have liked it. Aside from it did have amazing cinematography. Like,
I know a
I
movie that
can't
does
say
not
enough.
have. I know that doesn't have any violence. That doesn't have titties, and I love to death. The Life of Pi.
I don't think I've seen that.
The
It's a
Life of
good movie.
Pi was. If
I love that movie.
I had not read the book, the movie would have been very good. I no, I'm lying. The movie would have been okay. It would not be something I would seek to watch more than once, but it would have been enjoyable to watch once. The book itself, I've read at least twice,
Mhm.
but the movie I did not care for very much, and it is specifically because I knew what the book was, and
I've
I
never
had
read the
issues
book.
with the way it was presented in the movie.
You all right, James?
James,
Yeah, I'm okay.
okay, is it
I'm just
time?
waiting.
Okay, let's let James go off on it.
What I didn't like about this movie does have every bit to do with the story. And you can talk God's plan, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, this story is meant to be depressing from beginning to end. Okay?
Okay.
It's
I,
set up that way to start.
it is actually um
Yeah, it's not meant to be
not
entirely
necessarily
depressing at the
meant
end.
not necessarily meant to be depressing so much as to show that even the sad parts of life have mm, they had beautiful things attached to them.
Yeah.
Because in all reality, it's
And
not meant to. Sorry to cut you off, but it's not meant to
no,
be a depressing movie. It's meant to have that whole thing of appreciating what you have and while you have it.
while you have it. Exactly.
Yeah. And I can agree with that. But at the same time, someone that's had loss after loss after loss, they're not going to appreciate the movie the same way as someone that hasn't had that experience.
Oh yeah, because it's a movie that's not meant for everyone.
True.
Right.
It is meant okay, I'm Tier is correct in one thing. I am the target demographic for this movie because God knows I have not had an easy, happy go lucky life. But I am still a very happy and hopeful person.
That's not what I meant when I said that.
No, but that is the demographic that the movie was made for.
The movie is a love story. It is trying to be a love story told through the lens of a man that will do anything for the love of the woman. Like at bare bones, brass tacks, the as story is presented. You
I was
boil
gonna
all the
say
stuff
you're
down to its base.
oversimplifying, yes.
If you boil it all down to its base elements, it is a guy who will do anything to get with the woman he loves. If even if it means throwing away everything he's known. If this
But
movie were the
it
wait a minute, hold on.
there is one
Wait a minute.
additional part to that. You finish your thing first, but do
Uh,
not run away after that.
I'm not. All I'm saying
Go.
is if you set this movie about a millionaire going to if you date this woman, you lose the backing of your family. The base elements would be the exact same. The all the story beats would be the exact same. You know, him going to see her and whatnot, and then like him like signing his family name away or his place in the will just to be with her, and she died, and him living this life of now I'm free. What to do? Again, it is a love story told with a fucking tragic ending, and we're all expected to be happy about that shit. Well, he knew her love, and he's better off. Is he?
That's the point here. The point is that love is worth it.
Maybe I'm old and jaded.
That's exactly the point that I was trying to make. That is the difference between you and me.
I think it's just Tears
That is
just
why
jaded.
I am the target
Huh?
demographic and you are not.
You said Rodney?
So I think Tears just jaded.
Not old and jaded, just
Without
jaded.
old, without the old part.
Well,
I can't
considering the
really
fact
say.
me and Tear are the youngest ones on the stream.
Excuse me.
I
Didn't mean
think
to
that
jog.
was the premise of our third Frosted. Well, that and being a massive alcoholic, but
I mean, again, I'm not into romantic. That's another thing. Probably why I don't like the movie. I'm not into romantic stories. They don't do anything for me. And a small bit of violence would have at least or hey, he talked to Gabriel at some point and go, really, don't do that, man. You shouldn't fall. And there should have been an angel putting the counterpoint out there. Don't do it. There was no counterpoint being presented. Oh yeah, just do it. Just jump. Just fall. Well, if you do that, all these other bad things will happen. You know, you lose all this, and at some point you will die.
I mean, that's what.
he's aware.
Yeah, that's what freaking Dennis's character Nathan, Messenger, was going with, and that whole thing. He's like, you do give up so much, but instead of it, it doesn't have the implication like a lot of the other ones do, because this isn't the typical fall that everyone else thinks of, to where it's something more along the lines of Lucifer. Because in this one, you could even say that it's not necessarily even a fall of the hate of humanity as Lucifer's was. It's more of the
James.
love of humanity.
Yes.
That gives another interesting implication for the movie,
You
if you
need
think
to
about it.
either sit up
What if
or
in this universe, Lucifer did not fall out of violence and hate, but he fell in love with somebody?
because you're starting to
Like it.
fade on.
No,
So
for the Lucifer thing, I always prefer it to be his fall wasn't because of the necessarily the hate of humanity. It was the love of angels and being considered less than human.
I like to go with the theory that he just does the job that nobody else wanted. Like there needs to be an antagonist to show you darkness so there you can appreciate the light. He had the shitty job.
That's what life is supposed to be, anyways.
No. My interpretation
He's
of it is
talking about Satan.
No, I'm just saying he just had the shitty job. Like, dude, I know this job isn't as glamorous, but someone had to do it, and I take it. Since nobody else wants it, I'll be the bad guy for you. Just hey, thanks for creating me. I love you guys. Bye. That's been always my interpretation.
You should watch the show Lucifer. It's right up your alley.
I think I haven't seen that one yet.
It's actually not bad. I think you would enjoy it.
That gets into even more philosophical, theological debate and the whole thing and whatnot that we could say for a Talking to the Void. Just remind me some point. Because
I was just giving him the recommendation so that he can come back to the movie we were watching.
Yeah, because like
rewrite. Wait, frost the glass. Rewrite. Satan shows up and says Meg Ryan is mine.
If you're gonna pull off something like that, you have the other doctor that was with her be a different fallen, potentially someone like Lucifer.
An evil fallen.
Then boom, you've got your two male things going at it, and it turns it even to more of a chick flick, and then it's her. Who do I choose?
The bad boy or the good guy?
I mean, we're not trying to
You
go straight
know,
up Bridget Jones'
Okay, so
Diary
what I'm gonna
bullshit.
do is just say it was a great movie. It was about the fact that love is worthwhile.
Yes.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. If you have a more
No, I'm being
optimistic personality, this movie will be good for you.
well,
Music was
hold
on
on,
point.
hold on. What I would get, that's like with the way I was going, that Angela, I was being sarcastic, saying that that shit actually didn't need to happen. The movie doesn't need to be changed.
I did understand that, Rotten.
Okay.
I'm just saying now that's all I'm going to say because Tear's going to take this one over.
No,
okay.
I was just saying that the music was on point, Andrew.
The music was great.
It was nice hearing the Goo Goo Dolls.
That is one of my absolute favorite songs.
I can agree.
I have issues with the Goo Goo Dolls. But anywho,
What?
as far as the movie goes, beat for beat, it's a good movie in its own way. It's a little long. There's some things that they did that they didn't have to do. You could trim 30 to 45 minutes off this movie and you're not going to lose anything.
Yeah, like the
But
her
the
going
thing that
into the
makes,
hospital. Yeah,
yeah, but there are things in this movie that makes you hate it, you know?
yeah.
And anyone that's had loss, like I said, they're they're a couple of them, that wouldn't like this movie because, or people that still have that belief in that their marriage and relationship is going to work out and go to that way, you know. So this is the kind of movie that's going to piss those people off at the end. But as far as all the build up and excitement up to that point where she dies,
Mm-hmm.
it is still a very decent. Excuse me, let me restart. Or let me I'm going to pause myself.
What
I'm going to
what
stand up for a second
while
so I
you're
can stand up.
while you're doing that, one of the funny things about that whole before she dies is if you pay attention, the truck was making a originally I think it's a left turn, or it's coming from the right side. Yeah, and making a right turn. Then when Nicolas Cage gets there, it had made a left turn. It was on the left side making a left turn. The fucking truck got reversed.
I didn't notice that.
I mean, I'm still just gonna put it this way, like with how far away everything was, unless she was being completely an idiot, that was 100% avoidable accident.
Oh,
She
it was.
wasn't
I mean, she raised her arms up and closed her eyes while we're on the bike. Who the fuck does that?
Okay, I've done
On a
that.
logging road.
children.
On a log road.
Well, from what we're aware, that's not necessarily a log road.
I want to know who can stop your biking time to avoid it. Like you skid and you hit, you may get injured, but it's a lot better than hitting it fucking full on. Like, don't
Oh,
you swerve?
but like I said, if people that still have hope in relationships and all that, they're gonna hate it. They hate this movie. Some of them
I
love it because it's like, oh, he gave up everything for her.
and
And it's
he's
like,
continuing to the point isn't that he gave up everything for her. The point is he got to be with her and he gets to experience life like he didn't get to when he was an angel. The point is that as long as you have it, life is worth living.
And
no,
Frosted for
no.
the other one, for him being in the afterlife type thing, because you can't really include Ghost Rider in that since he was a regular human before he became Ghost Rider. Like, you could also include Drive Angry into that, since he breaks out of hell.
He has played a lot of movies where he is the rather a supernatural entity as
I mean, I'll still say this one. I will always recommend this one over Time to Kill.
Yes, I will always recommend anything over A Time to Kill.
Not A Time to Kill. Remember, it is not A Time to Kill. That is an entirely different movie. It is just Time to Kill.
A Time to Kill is actually a good movie with Samuel L. Jackson and
Yes.
Matthew McConaughey. And
Time to
Simon
Kill is a horrible fucking abortion. And it pissed me off that y'all wasn't there to suffer with us.
When we finish the Nicolas Cage thing, we should watch A Time to Kill to give Tyr.
I mean, we've had the good movies in there, and I don't care what anyone says. I'm including Tremors as a good movie.
Tremors was awesome.
The last three of the movies weren't.
Thanksgiving was fun.
The last three of the Tremors movies weren't as good. But they were still fun.
They weren't as good, but it's not like Nightmare on Elm Street where it just went completely off the fucking rails.
And with Thanksgiving, that when you know enough information about it, it's not as bad as some people try to make it out to be. It is definitely not a great movie, but if you understand that this is a college project. No, it wasn't even a spoof. It was a college. This was put on or directed and wrote by a couple of college students who ended up using it for a fucking one of their fucking school projects or whatever.
It was a film school project.
Yeah.
But as long as you go into it expecting an abortion, it's good. Because it's totally, it's hilarious.
Oh, most
It is
definitely fucking funny.
Funny movie. It just isn't a good movie. It's
Hopefully
something
by
that
the
should have been
time,
watched on Frosted Glasses MST3K.
hopefully by the time I get everything situated on my end, by the time Thanksgiving gets here, I can watch Thanksgiving, or when we watch the sequel to Thanksgiving.
Yes, Thanksgiving 3.
3.
Yes.
I've already got it.
Because they're so
Sweet.
smart.
And there's also, Thanksgiving 3 is actually supposed to have more, it'd be more refined. And there was supposed to be an actual Thanksgiving horror movie that came out this year.
Yes.
It was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I actually do want to see that. I'm hoping it'll be watchable next year.
I mean, once we get done with Snake Eyes, I'm actually looking for, once we get past 8mm, for Bring Out Your Dead, or Bring Out the Dead. Apparently, from what Polly was saying, it's a pretty damn good movie. It's a pretty accurate interpretation of like an EMT.
I actually want to see that.
You already reviewed Drive Angry, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Damn it.
Because it was after.
We can always do it again.
Because after going through the Jordan Peele ones, we did Willy's Wonderland, and I brought up Drive Angry, so we did that one, and then you were the one who were like, you should do The Wicker Man. And I was like, if we're doing Wicker Man, we have to do the original one first. So then we did the original one, and then the Nicolas Cage one. I didn't have the extended cut for that one to where they dumped the bees into his face. And God, that was such a terrible movie. Whoever decided to do that one should have been kicked in the dick.
I still want to see Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland is
I haven't seen it, and it sounds hilarious.
A dumb, fun movie. And I love the fact that even though it was originally supposed to be a Five Nights at Freddy movie, that got changed over, and then they ended up making a Five Nights at Freddy movie. It was actually Nicolas Cage who brought up the idea to have his character not speak an actual word. He had
Yes.
scripted dialogue, and it's like, what if I just don't talk? And I know there's a lot of people that like to give Nicolas Cage shit because, you know, because like the whole tax thing and whatnot, and he just took a bunch of different ways. The man can act. And he showed that like he can still portray acting, and all, quite literally, he doesn't say anything other than like extended sighs and grunts.
Heck, easy. A caveman can do it.
Well, I mean, there's some people that like it always depends on the movie. Like Will Ferrell, probably one of the few movies I can tolerate him in, other than I want to say it's Stranger Than Fiction, is the other guys, and that's mostly because of Mark Wahlberg.
We have
And
not, I don't think, Frosted.
no, we did a couple of the later movies because of going to the Jordan Peele movies, and then because of the discussion, we decided to go through and start as early as we could, where Nicolas Cage was one of the main characters, and only a few of them we couldn't get. Like, was it The Boy in Blue?
I think
Yeah,
that's
we
the
couldn't
only
get that
one
one.
we've been unable to get so far. I think that's the only one we've been unable to get.
Yeah, because The Boy in Blue is just a bitch to fucking find, and that's not going to cost you a bill.
And it doesn't sound like it's a great movie. It sounds like it's something to
Pretentious.
do with like an old rowing team.
Yeah, it's a rowing thing, so it's like a historical documentation or
Of
dramatization.
a sport that nobody cares about.
Very few.
That's true because technically I like to row, but I don't do it competitively.
Yeah. We'll eventually get to The Color of Space. That's why, like, I recommend uh, Willy's Wonderland as well, and it was off Tier's recommendation. Just, God, that movie was fun.
Yes. Uh, oh,
'Cause, yeah, then after we did the remake of The Wicker Man, which, God, that movie was. How do you fuck up that bad with a remake?
probably they did it.
Like, I know we're supposed to be talking about City of Angels, and we went to the whole thing as well because there's just really not much else to say about it. It's not a bad movie. Um, go into it, realize you plausibly are going to be pissed off, and it's probably going to bring up some emotions you weren't expecting. But just,
City of Angels.
yeah, City of Angels, but just the remake of The Wicker Man. For the most part, you did a beat for beat of the original terribly, and then you add extra dumb shit in there, and then you have a thing at the end to basically say the shit has to continue. That was the great thing about the original Wicker Man, was you never know if what they actually did worked out in the end for the island.
Mm.
It was left ambiguous for a reason.
And it was good that was left ambiguous for a reason.
Well, that was back when they made movies that you let the audience make up their own mind. They have stopped believing in their audience.
Well, there's still movies that'll go and do that. It's just, it's
Yes.
rarer in that whole thing. And with when that one came out, they had to do the whole thing of like, we're going to swap all the shit. Because instead of it being, you know, a guy as the Lord of the Island, it's now a woman. And all this other shit. And all the men that live there have their tongues cut out. Because it's a
They're trying to be
because it's a matriarchal society because of the bees.
I was gonna say I think they're leaning
the
a little
bees,
too.
not the bees.
Okay, but since we have moved on a bit, and since we are talking about bees, I went and saw The Beekeeper on Wednesday, and it was. If you like Jason Statham movies, it was good. I really enjoyed it.
Beekeeper sounds like it's supposed to be a Like I said, like a dramatization piece of a beekeeper's life.
This is a standard Jason Statham movie. Beekeeper is a code name for a
Oh, so it's I am Jason Statham and I beat people up because I'm Jason Statham.
yeah, pretty much. It is a
Ah,
Jason Statham
Cool.
movie.
I can
It
I can
is
take that.
it is a fun movie, and okay, I'm gonna girl out on you a bit. I thought that Josh Hutcherson as the main bad guy was fantastic.
Like,
If you
I
don't
don't
know
know
who
fuck
that
all
is,
about the movie. I like
that's
until
PETA
seeing like kind of your
from
tweet and the one thing
that's
I knew
PETA
nothing of it.
that's PETA from The Hunger Games, and it was
Hmm.
fantastic.
I
It was
haven't
like
seen
he
enough of the
plays
Hunger
this
Games to even really know the character other than Cat Piss.
he plays this douchey
no one like
.com
cat
bad
piss.
guy whose mother happens to be the president of the United States.
And we still have a long way to go to get there because we're only in '98 for Nicolas Cage, and that is Color Out of Space. That's 2019, so we still have like 20 years to get through of movies.
Let's see.
And I'm still going to throw in the first Kick-Ass movie, even though he's not one of the main characters, just because that movie was fun. I forgot we
He
did
was
Source.
Big Daddy.
I forgot that we did Sorcerer's Apprentice as well.
We did. It was good.
That was a
We
fun
did
movie.
Sorcerer's
It
Apprentice. We
was
did
a
Willy's
great movie. It
Wonderland.
was fun.
We did Drive Angry. We only did 4 Eye Water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll still say this though, like while I have such a disdain for the remake of The Wicker Man, like we go back into this one a whole bunch, but Time to Kill, God, that's a terrible movie.
Just from your guys' description of it and the fact that you seem to have ongoing trauma from it, uh,
Trauma doesn't
Time
get
to
that much.
Kill is one of those
it
ones
just
I would
sounds
I would
horrific.
almost recommend for Johnny to do a torture stream or torture is how you make friends stream it. I don't honestly think I could do that to him.
Okay, I wouldn't do that.
That's that's
That's
one
against the Geneva Conventions.
that's one of those ones that if he was like, we're gonna do that, I've been like, have you thought about doing something else, like punching yourself in the dick?
Wow.
It's not that it's that bad, but it's like you'd at least get more out of punching yourself in the dick. You'd learn not to do that.
Or you'd learn that you're a freak.
Or that you'd discover a kink you didn't realize you had, and you're like, damn it. But it's
mean,
just such a weird fucking movie. Like, oh god, that one was rough.
Mm,
Like that one was rougher than Birdie.
yeah.
I didn't have as hard a time with Birdie as you guys did. It wasn't a great movie. I would not watch it again.
Yeah, it's
But
like
I didn't lose anything from watching it the first time.
It was still a better
So
movie than Over the Moon.
Racing with the
Or
Racing
Moon.
Racing with the Moon.
Yeah, Racing with the Moon was weird as well.
Racing with the Moon, I didn't like the characters. There were no characters that I could really enjoy.
I mean,
Again,
the
I
the only
didn't lose anything
the
from
only
watching it,
character
but
you could kind of like go with and whatnot in Racing with the Moon was was it Sean Penn's love interest.
not really.
She
I
wasn't a
wrote
total
about
bitch. I mean, it's
I
just kind
wrote
of funny
about
to see
Sean
that,
Penn's dad.
or that one. Like,
Sean Penn's dad was the only character I
it's still
liked.
weird that you have Racing with the Moon and then Birdie, but then before those ones you have fucking Valley Girl.
Yeah.
And Valley Girl was a fucking music video. I think
Yeah, I was
we've all
gonna
gone,
say
but
that.
it was still like, in my opinion, a pretty dumb fun movie.
It was fun. I mean, like literally, it was a 1980s.
1983.
It was an hour and a half long 1980s musical video. It was fantastic. The music was wonderful. I had a good time. It was great.
I just really can't think of much else to go on this. I mean, and next will be Snake Eyes after the Talking into the Void. Which, if you don't want to get into a theological debate, then we can, or we can do it on next stream for tier. And wait, do we have? I think we have Hammer on the next stream, so I don't know if he'd want to necessarily get into that one.
Yeah.
If you want to have a theological debate tier, that's fine.
No.
I'm
Angela, by the end of the night, I'm going to forget this movie even existed.
I won't forget it existed. It's just, man, that thing was weird. I will still, like I said, I still say the best part of the movie is before before he voluntarily falls, and he's having a discussion with Dennis, and like he brings him to the beach where they go through the whole thing, and then they do the whole belly surfing thing. Like, that was just one of those weird fun movies or moments. Even the diner where he's going through and talking everything, and he's like, he's explained to him that of what they can do. Then he's like, you can read minds, and he's just like, don't do that.
no Frosted. I'm not trying to bring them to Jesus through Nicolas Cage movies. They're choosing the movies. This one just happened to have
Well, this
a little
because we stopped
bad
doing
reference.
the movies every week. It's not near as bad sticking with the Nicolas Cage ones now.
Well,
And
no.
Frosted, we all know the biggest converter of atheists to Christians is Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Ugh.
And that's just straight through sheer
Through being a
annoyance
dick.
and repulsiveness.
How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah.
Such a dickhole.
Every time I see
We'll be back in a quick moment, so continue on with something.
No, if you want to go with
No.
scientific people that have, and I'm air quoting scientific because he doesn't like science. He teaches science.
Bill Nye.
Bill Nye makes me sad. I
Yes.
used to watch Bill Nye on the Mickey Mouse Club.
Bill Nye, the science guy. Bill.
And now he's just
A dick.
so sad.
He drank the Kool-Aid. Cat.
No, he drank the ratings aid.
He drank the Flavor Aid.
And yes, people are going to look and say, weren't you just arguing because you're Christian? Yes, I am Christian. I also believe in science. The two are not mutually exclusive.
Now, what Bill Nye had as well was that huge taste of fame and being more than loved and adored and being brought onto a bunch of things that he really didn't need to go onto. And he let that shit go to his head.
No, when he wanted to get back into, when he thought he could parlay his, everyone's nostalgic love for him into a new career as an older, oh well, I'm doing this for adults now, and that shit lasted 20 minutes.
I mean, quite literally, his fame would have continued on if he just would have been like, oh, people are reminiscing on that. Well, let's continue with the actual science of it. And instead, he just went retarded.
Yep. And Neil deGrasse Tyson is a dick. Mm-hmm. And I will say that now.
Sold his soul to become relevant and lost his relevancy as a result.
Yeah.
Says,
Yes.
Peter, don't you call me 'cause I can't go. Sold my soul to the company store.
So
Every time I hear like the sold my soul, it's either something like it's either that or something else.
I can't remember that name of that song.
What?
I do
I
not
can't
remember.
remember the name of that song.
15 tons.
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't it be 16 tons?
It might be 16 tons. It's something, it's a number in the teens.
Yeah.
Tons.
Out of my brain.
Aren't you living?
I mean, I think for this movie we can say this for Tyr and James is that they want to be sedated. I mean, nothing to do, nowhere to go. They want to be sedated.
I want to be sedated.
I think Angela has emotional damage.
You know, in that you could have just gone through and
emotional damage.
hopefully that actually came through because I don't have SoundPad open. I'm using
did.
the well, on stream.
I was going to say, I don't know about on stream.
It should
Yes, Johnny, I know it's 16 tons. I just have difficulty remembering because they sound so simple.
You work 18 hours. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt.
So much Easter. I
I would like to see if we could maybe after the Nicolas Cage mess
Mhm.
do something fun like Stephen King movie.
God no. Angela,
I mean, Stephen
Ariana,
King.
you lunkhead.
Stephen King movies are weird because you got everything from Creepshow, Maximum Overdrive, Christine, Dark
The
Tower, The Langoliers,
It,
The Shining, Doctor
Needful
Sleep,
Things.
What was
Cat's Eye.
The Tommyknockers, The Stand, that weird fucking movie with the alien that the dude poops out into the toilet.
The shit weasels.
Oh,
You're talking
that
about
was Dreamcatchers.
Dreamcatchers.
Yeah.
Timothy Oliphant was so badly used in that movie. I felt so bad for him.
The shit weasels.
Then there's Always Stand By Me.
You forget one of my favorite ones. Fucking Misery.
Oh, forgot the
Pupil.
Forgot the also 3 variations of Carrie.
Yeah, but you also like talking about the 3 variations of Carrie. It would be interesting to go through those and talk about those.
Well, Carrie 2 is pointless in the whole thing because it's not meant to be Carrie. It's meant to be like her other sister. Yeah, that somehow has the same name. Oh, yeah, there's also The Mist.
The Mist was good.
The problem with the 2 movies of Carrie is, one, neither one goes to the book. The remake gets a couple things on there. The biggest problem with that is like many instances, the studio had to go around and put their dick into it and fuck shit up.
Well,
just
yeah,
don't watch it if you're
with The Shining. You could watch the original The Shining with Jack Nicholson, and then the one that was made for the Sci-Fi Channel that I actually enjoyed more.
Here's Johnny. Shelley Duvall. All right. Stanley Kubrick was a dick to Shelley Duvall in that movie. That's why she refuses to work with him. She refused to work with him.
Stanley Kubrick is just a dick in general from everything I've seen.
I was gonna say, from what I've heard, Stanley Kubrick is just a dick to actors in
No. He like
Yes,
told
we know the way he went through that whole thing to get the genuine reaction out of it, that he was a dick to her. But we're saying is that yes, there was that, but he's also, when it comes to movies and whatnot, just a dick in general.
shit. Shit. He did Children of the Corn,
Oh fuck,
Secret
I forgot
Window,
that one.
Firestarter,
Yep.
There's also multiple versions of Children of the Corn too.
The Green Mile. Well, that might be good to watch. At Pupil, Night
Apt
Flyer.
Pupil was absolutely freaking nuts. Do you know what that's about?
Nazis. I've seen it before.
Apt Pupil, this kid found out that his neighbor was actually a Nazi that escaped trial.
Hmm.
And the kid turns out to be an evil little shit who unleashes all of the stuff that this guy has been keeping hidden since he came to America and pretended to be normal.
And actually, Frosted, they were looking at a different actor, like it was almost cast as a different actor. Kubrick's choice was Cage, not Cage, but Nicholson.
I think it was a good choice to go with him. He was pretty good.
I think that the good movie came out several decades later on the Sci-Fi Channel. If you're talking about a good The Shining movie.
Oh, the
The
adaptation.
original movie was good, but it was not The Shining.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, if we're gonna go through the whole thing as well, there are a bunch of movies that are also considered good by a lot of people, but aren't like either by the big fans of the what it was based off of. Like, oh god, damn it, Alita Battle
Like
Angel.
Why, which Jared and I were
Yeah.
just talking.
Alita Battle Angel. I really like the movie, but I actually haven't read the comic or the manga or whatever it's from. But apparently, from what I've seen from a lot of that, it's actually a pretty terrible adaptation.
It really is.
And then one of the really funny things is a guy I had heard was going through and said, while he loves Lord of the Rings, if you look at the actual movies, they are as well, while they're very enjoyable to watch, they are bad adaptations.
So there are characters missing. Plots are condensed.
Oh, yes.
Characters are fused.
That's why there's a lot of these things to where it's like I've brought up because of a different one of my friends, because she shared a thing on Facebook, the side by side of the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender they're doing, and not the M Night Shyamalama Ding Dong. What a twist!
The television series.
Yeah, the television series, to where it's supposed to be much closer to it of what it's actually supposed to be, and I'm in the no, don't do it. And why? It's like, well, people are like, why? Because you don't need to do a live action variation of a story that's already fucking told. Right, especially that one that was done so well. If you're going to do a live action thing of that, either do before Aang with a different avatar, or do the stuff after the the cartoon. But honestly, that's something as well that just needs to remain being animated, for how much of it's going to end up being CGI to fucking begin with.
Yeah, and that was about what I'm about to say. It is, you don't get the expressiveness of live action. You know, you can't do some of the now. Some of the fight scenes would look fucking amazing. The choreographed fight scenes where they're actually using kung fu and different martial arts styles.
Oh yeah,
forms, that shit would look amazing. But
it's going to be CGI'd straight the fuck out of town.
It will be.
And if you're going to do that, why not just do an entirely CGI version of it? So where you do like the Resident Evil movies did, and you can use the fucking all the little dots and whatnot, and have the fucking actual martial artists do the moves for you.
Or you won't have to pay expensive fight choreography to teach these kids,
Yeah.
and they should be children. Like I think they were like at the oldest 12.
Zuko was older.
Yeah, but Aang and them Toph was like 10.
Yeah.
You know, shit. Technically, Aang was almost 100, but
He was
by the
100.
child.
He was 112. But it's just one of those things of where that stuff that's just not needed. But it's been an hour. We've been going off into the woods because there's really not too much to say about this movie. Well, it's one of those things. The one I still like to bring back up the most is Kiss of Death, where it was just me, James, and Tyr, and we had damn near an hour and a half worth of conversation about that fucking movie in its own. And it wasn't just us yelling at each other or whatnot.
All right, so there are some movies we watch, and it's fucking so bad that we go through it with a fine tooth comb. And there are some movies where we have contention. And then there are some movies where we like it so much, like it's not really much to talk about because we liked it.
And then somehow we get movies like Kiss of Death to where it's just like, it wasn't bad, it wasn't great. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. But yeah, we definitely could have extended Michael Rappaport's death scene to where he gets beaten to death by Nicolas Cage. I'd have totally been down for that.
I'd have been totally down for that too.
But we're gonna get out of here. It's like 1 a.m. and I have no idea what I'm gonna do for now. Probably play a game of some sort. Because just really, we're way off in the weeds because there's really not much else to talk about. Because it's a movie. It's a City of Angels. It's not the greatest movie. I don't think it's absolute dog shit. And I would still recommend to watch it at least once. But as it was stated earlier, just don't watch it if you're depressed.
Yeah.
And it's
you are already feeling down. This isn't the movie for you.
And it is definitely not a date night movie.
Agreed.
But
this is more of a grab your pint of ice cream.
But if you're definitely going through Nicolas Cage's catalog, I do recommend it just because it's not absolutely terrible. James, you got any parting words with the movie? Looks like he's still muted.
I think he may have faded out on us.
Oh.
It happens.
Fucking flying things.
Okay.
Sorry, playing Remnant too. And those flying pieces of shit have pissed me off.
Well, kill a couple of them for me.
Yes, ma'am, I will.
All right, well, take it easy, folks. Obviously, tomorrow you'll be able to see Tyr on the Minions.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a fucking video I need to make that I should have done today. There's a lot I should have done today. I was fucking lazy. So, have a good one, folks. Thanks for stopping in. Sorry to hear about what happened to your mom, Frosted. Hopefully, things get better. We're not going to get to that on stream. You can see that in his Discord.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's his business, but hopefully things get better. So have a good one, folks. We Audi 5000. I can.
Adios, amigos. Go to the theater.
Yes.
And I will mute us.